Yeah. Let's talk about our current quarterback.
Current quarterback, Joe Flacco. I feel like it's a broken record, but I just saw today on DraftKings the Comeback Player of the Year award. Now it's betting odds. If you're into that kind of thing, it's neck and neck. I think Damar Hamlin's minus 150 or 100, and Joe Flacco is plus 150 or plus 100. One of the two, vice versa. So like that's neck and neck. And again, I don't want Damar Hamlin literally freaking died on a football field. I'm never going to forget watching that. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I almost feel like if you'd even asked Damar, like, does he want just handed an award just because?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel he's been inactive for most of the games. I think he has 2 tackles this year.
Yeah, like you have to play and do stuff probably to win that award, I would imagine. And Joe Flacco is playing and doing stuff. Yes. You said it sounds like a broken record. The guy literally breaks records every week. He's doing something he's never done before.
The Jets hadn't given up 280 yards passing in a game yet this year.
They haven't given up 300-yard passer in like the last 32 games. Is that what it was? Yeah, last 32. I knew it was something long like that.
He had 296 in the first half.
Yeah. Career high. Yep, 296. He almost had 300.
Is it crazy to think that Joe Flacco is playing the best football he's ever played?
In a while, I would say. I'd say in at least probably the last, maybe since 15.
I mean, the Super Bowl run was
incredible.
What he had, like 11 TDs and 1 pick or something, or no picks in the playoff run. He was very good. But the way he's moving.
Yeah.
The biggest knock on him and why people wanted to keep playing DTR is because like he's a statue back there. With our backup tackles, he's just going to get sacked over and over again. He's not going to be able to move. The dude is running around. He had 3 yards rushing.
And he only took a sack. And I feel like that's every week. It's either like a sack or no sacks. He barely takes a sack. He navigates the pocket. I mean, he creates more time. He creates plays with his feet somehow. It's like, what in the world? I mean, I feel like he is a guy. He's about to turn 39 here in a couple weeks or so. And I feel like he is even turning back the clock on himself. Like he feels younger. He feels the youth revigorated, and man, does it show.
It's another one of those things where, and I actually listened to him a little bit on the McAfee show where he talked about his mindset this year was like, maybe it's a good thing I'm not on a team in training camp, as in, you don't know how that season's going to go. Depending on what team you're on and how it goes, by this point in the year, you might wish you weren't on a team. And by being on the couch and just staying in shape. And then, I mean, he didn't really get to pick and choose because it sounds like he was looking and there were no takers, but he finds himself in potentially a way better situation than, he's been in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I also think we have to talk, and he talked about this post game on Amazon last night. You have to give Kevin Stefanski credit, a lot of credit for what Joe Flacco's doing, because we haven't had to talk about this in a while, but there were so many Kevin Stefanski haters this season and saying he runs a high school offense. He needs to give up play calling. He's calling the same plays, guys. I'm just letting you know now. He's calling the same plays. Okay, we're just executing them better. And does he need to adjust some when Deshaun's back? Yes. Does Deshaun need to adjust some? Yes. Okay, but Kevin Stefanski deserves a ton of credit. Do you think Joe Flacco would look like this if he had Nathaniel Hackett calling plays?
Absolutely not. That's the point I was going to make. You got to give Stefanski his due for what that team and especially Flacco's doing, because everyone in the Jets organization, fan-wise, they're basically saying, well, they should have kept Flacco. Was he going to do what he's doing for the Browns?
Yeah, you had him last year. You had him in the building last year, and you didn't think enough of him to keep him around. Or even, play him. Everybody in New York feels like they could have potentially been a playoff team last year with that defense if they were getting good quarterback play. He was in your building.
Yep.
So Stefanski has to be getting a ton of this credit, and I think nationally today, Nick said it in our Patreon text, or like our OG chat. You can tell that there is a lot of national guys that last night was their first time watching a Browns game, because they're talking about how good of a team we are. They're actually talking about things that you would only know if you watch us and not just from pulling up a box score and looking at stuff. Because I heard multiple people say Kevin Stefanski's got to be coach of the year. Mm-hmm. And they weren't saying this a month ago. Colin Cowherd came out today and said he loved Stefanski, great young coach. AB's a great coach. Browns are a legitimate AFC title game contenders. But literally last week, he said we were a good story, not a good team. You can tell that he just has never watched a game. Uh-huh. And he's just pulling headlines and box scores. These national guys are so dumb. Like, that's why you guys should watch our show.
Because we watch as many games as we can every week, but we follow hardcore the Browns and everything that they're doing. And another thing with Flacco that I think has made it so easy for him to buy into everything that's going on here, you think about like the Jets last season. Well, there was so much back and forth. It was Zach Wilson was the number 2 overall pick just the year before or whatever. And it was like, well, or 2 years before, however long he's been. And it's like, well, we still kind of want him to be the guy, but we need you right now. And it's like, whenever he got to Cleveland, dude, this is your team now. Like, you go take the reins. You're the leader and you do what you do. And I think it was just so much easier for him to buy into that too. Like, I can come in here and I can lead without, fear of having to give up my position.
And I want to touch on the quarterbacks because you said it, like he's being a leader. Did you notice somebody else on the field too?
Yes, let's talk about it.
Nobody said a damn thing about, and that was the guy that he chest bumped with.
Yep.
That was Mr. Deshaun Watson. Emilio was bringing it up here in the conversation more as if we're going to keep him for next year. That's Flacco, that is. He was wondering if Flacco was going to say. I would say, man, just enjoy the process.
Enjoy it.
There are 250 or $250 million reasons why he probably won't be. But enjoy this process now. Man, Flacco's doing amazing. And you know what? Deshaun Watson, he is being a real teammate. Number one, he was on the sidelines. No one said anything. I don't know if you saw what he did in the Cleveland area over the holidays.
Yeah, with the kids.
What was it, 300 kids and the gifts? Like, come on, man. Every guy gets to have a chance to redeem himself or, prove that they're innocent until proven guilty, right? And for some reason, this guy doesn't get it. So, let that be. Enjoy the process, man. And, man, just this quarterback play has been unreal.
It was nice last night because the broadcast had no choice but to show it, because every time they would show Joe Flacco on the sideline after a play or, whatever, when the defense was out there, Deshaun Watson's right there with him. They were together pretty much the whole game, it seemed like, on the sideline, and they're talking. You can tell that their interactions, there's no animosity between them. These are two guys that love playing football. They love their team. They're leaders on this team, and they're working together over there. And when Flacco came off after that touchdown, I mean, the chest bump with Watson, and he bumped him, and he puts his head back, and he's screaming into the air. It's like, this is awesome. And I hope people appreciate just what we have right now in Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's a great thing to see. And again, about Flacco, to be realist, I don't know if a 39-year-old quarterback's going to make, 17 games and 3 preseasons. I don't know if that's a thing, but enjoy the process, man, and just let it happen.
No, I agree. I want to Lee Shelko messaged me, Honolulu Browns backers, and said, can you guys talk about Flacco, moving forward, Flacco or not? And I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but like you said, one, he's going to be 39. And trust me, I love what Joe Flacco is doing. I never in a million years would have thought I'd be rooting for Joe Flacco.
100%.
I talked so much crap about this guy for his entire career. I hated him. I thought he was so overrated. I thought he got carried by a defense and Anquan Bolden. And I freaking love the guy now. Like every game, every interview, everything he does, I like him. But he's throwing for a ton of yards. But if you go look at points per game, where Deshaun and the points per game before this week which was when I was looking at it, we were scoring more points per game with Deshaun than we were with Joe Flacco. 2 of Joe Flacco's games, we didn't score 20 points.
Yeah.
Okay. He's throwing for a lot more yards. Okay. And a lot more touchdowns. Well, guess what? We're throwing the ball way more, and he doesn't have a run game to take away touchdowns in the red zone.
And how many turnovers have led to other teams' points, and then we have to throw more to come back.
Yes, and that's another thing. He now has in 5 games, 7 or 8 interceptions?
That's 8 now.
8, and he has a lost fumble. Like, he's got a ton of turnovers. So, again, I'm not taking anything away. He is essentially saving our season down the stretch, and I think he gives us a chance to go on a legitimate Super Bowl run, hopefully. But to the people who are talking like he's just playing like the best quarterback that's ever stepped foot on a football field ever. He's thrown a lot of yards, but he's turned the ball over a shit ton also, okay? And he's playing with house money right now.
Right.
He has nothing to lose. He's on the couch. He's our only option. He's just coming in and he's like, forget it. Huck it, chuck it football. Somebody's down there. We're going to make plays. And it's working out right now, and I hope it works out for 4 more games.
And we were talking about earlier today when we were golfing, we were talking about there were some handful of plays last night. It was like he damn near threw more interceptions. Like the one out to Elijah Moore had a hell of a game last night. And one of the best plays that he made last night didn't show up on the stat sheet, but it was the pass that was almost intercepted that he somehow got his hands up and the defender was able to knock it away. And then he tipped it up. Well, he tipped it up and then he caught it, right? That was a sweet play. But it should have been pick, or could have been a pick. And then the one to Njoku where it just went over Mosley's hands, it was like my butt puckered on that one because it was so damn close to being picked.
It's like, can we just enjoy what we're doing without having, we don't need to drum up controversy and drama, do we? Like, can we just enjoy the fact
I would prefer we don't.
Yeah. Can we just enjoy the fact that we clinched a playoff spot with a week to go? We could potentially rest starters. I mean, I never thought this would happen in my life. No. If you'd asked me in 2016, do you ever think the Browns are going to clinch a playoff spot with a week to go? I would have said,
I don't know the next time we're going to win a game.
Yeah. Yes. Playoffs.
Let's get one win.
I'm just trying to get a preseason
win.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.